25 Squadron then was a flying squadron, and then it became, a lot of, in fact, the future Chief of Defence Force Staff, Sir Neville McNamara was the CO there at one time, and Ian Parker, who retired as an Air Vice Marshal. In fact, with Sir Neville McNamara, I was his last staff officer in the Air Force, when Sir Neville was Chief of Defence Force. So we did the whole circuit. That was much, much later, of course. So I was exposed to Air Force all the time, fixing and tuning and changing radios in Vampire aircraft, Wirraways and Dakotas. So I knew what it was all about. And the first flight actually ever in an aircraft was an Air Force Dakota C-47 flying from Pierce to Williamtown via Malala, which is an Air Force base then. It took all bloody day. And that was my first flight. And it was for a weapons camp where the vampires flew over by Kalgoorlie, Forest, Malala to get to Williamtown for a 2-week camp. And that's what my first exposure to flying in the Air Force was. After I did the advanced navigation course, I went as a nav instructor at Turf at Pierce, and I was the SARO nav on the Dakota. So I did a lot of flying in the Dakota thereafter. But anyway, going back to the basic course, we did all our training on Dakotas. And yeah, great aircraft. Used to cruise at 125 knots indicated, 145 knots true airspeed. You get a bit of wind, it could blow you off course, speed you up, slow you down. But we did all our navigation training on those out of sail, climbing up out of the mountains, always going via Shepparton, heading up to northwestern Victoria or northwest New South Wales, all 6 or 7 hours at a time. And then towards the end, then we did all our astro navigation on those as well, which is quite amazing. We handheld Mark 9 bubble sextants, of which I have one in my bloody possession still. And we did all sorts of things. Then we did a round Australia stage. Well, I say round Australia was, that was the stage check. We went from Sale to Edinburgh and Adelaide, up to Alice Springs, up to Darwin back to Mount Isa, Amberley, and then back to Sale. And that was our stage check for all our course members. I had 11 guys on course. I was one of them. And we all we'd have two student navs per aircraft. And you'd halve the flights. One would be the main navigator, Nav 1, as we used to call him, and the other one would be just sitting there watching and carrying on and practicing. And then the next leg, the other guy would become Nav 1. And then we had this instructor navigate and make sure we didn't get too far off course. And then the pilots up front going, oh, no, not training navs again. It was pretty boring for them, but it was pretty exciting for us. But we used to work with the old, what was called the manual air plot method, triangle of velocities with true airspeed and heading, and then the wind affected you. And then you got ground speed and track. Later, when we got to Canberra, we got dispensed with all the air plot system. We just went straight what was called a ground plot, where all we plotted was Doppler navigation positions, which is a ground position, and fixes from radio compass and visual fixes and that sort of thing. So whatever we were taught, air plot, World War II type navigation techniques, when we left there and went to Canberra, we didn't use that again at all.